Felix is with Friendly Automotive. This song is Bonita y Sabrosa. I do. Sung by Cuban singer Benny Moré. Benny is a Cuban singer, band leader, and songwriter. Felix says he likes all of Benny's music because he expresses a feeling of joy and happiness that is clearly understood. Benny became famous while living in Mexico and came back to Cuba to enjoy his successes. He composed many songs extensively for many years. Thanks for sharing that music, Felix. Okay, I want to thank our greeters today, Mamie Barboza, who is with Epic, as well as Steve Hahn, and I don't know, Steve's with some auto dealership. So thanks to our greeters. Next up to share some inspiration is Andy Lucero. He is the co-chair of the Chronicler Committee, and he is with Edward Jones. Andy.
Thank you, President Sherry. Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. As Rotarians, celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month is a powerful opportunity to honor and reflect on the profound impact that the rich culture and meaningful contributions of Hispanic individuals have on communities, both locally and around the globe. The core Rotary values of service, fellowship, and diversity are reflected in the Hispanic community's dedication to strong family bonds, a fierce work ethic, and a deep sense of community and civic engagement. Just as Rotary unites people from diverse backgrounds to create lasting change, the vibrant traditions and perspectives of Hispanic heritage enrich our fellowship and make our service stronger. I was going through our Facebook page and I saw some inspiring ideas. Selena gave us the idea of passing stories and traditions down to the next generation. Rodrigo shared with us that he uses his cultural tools according to the need or the context. But it was Lupita's highlight that really stood out to me. She stated, Hispanic Heritage Month isn't just about a calendar date. It's a reminder, a spotlight. But the pride, culture, and contributions of Hispanic and Latino communities are lived and felt every day. Let us be inspired by the resilience and creativity that define the Hispanic experience. Let us use this month not only to learn and celebrate, but to renew our commitment to building bridges and creating a truly inclusive club that reflects our community, the community that we serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll have the Rotarians sit, and the guests can please stay standing so we can acknowledge you as our MVPs today. We appreciate you being here. For those of you that don't know me, I am Sherry Bissell, and I am honored to be the 107th president and 5th woman president of this original Rotary Club, better known as the OG. We were chartered in 1919. So thank you for being here. We have something for everyone here in this club. I say that a lot, and I will continue to say that. We have something for everyone. It's not a closed club. It's not a secret thing. We don't have any secret handshakes, although Brad Hansen does, but you have to become a Rotarian to get in on that with him. And so, yes, we welcome you. There are blue cards on the table. If you're interested in joining our team, grab a card and talk to us about it. Thanks for being here. Okay, I have an update on services for Dave Demaray. Dave's life will be honored with a massive Christian burial tomorrow, 10 a.m. at Holy Family Church. A reception will follow at 11:30 at the Yakima Country Club. So Dave will be missed by so many, and he will definitely be missed in this club. Okay, next up for some Operation Harvest goodness. I would like to bring up a Hall of Famer because he is a past president in 2010 and 2011, Mr. Charlie Eichel.
So, Operation Harvest is a week from this Saturday, October 11th, and there are many ways to help. You can distribute bags this Saturday, I believe, or you can sign up to pick up food the following Saturday. You can donate money, but I want to share with you something that I do. And up here on the screen, and this is what I hand out, I send this to my neighbors, to family members, believe it or not, I do have some friends. I send it to them.
All two of them?
All, hey. Three.
Oh.
So, I used to drop them on their doorstep back when I could walk a long ways. Now I can't walk very far. So I now mail them out, and I include a self-addressed stamped envelope. And so what I intend to do when I send these out is to make them feel as bad as I can. All they have to do is write a check, slip it in the envelope, and put it in the mailbox, and it goes right to Carolyn. I don't get to see that they donated $5 or $500, but Carolyn does have a way to keep track of the envelopes that I send out, because I have a little smidge on them. And anyway, it's been very successful in the past, so whether you print these out, Carolyn will email these to everyone this afternoon or tomorrow. You can print them off, you can hand out 3 of them, or 15 of them, or 500, but it really works. So thank you. If you have any questions, you can see me after the meeting.
Thanks, Charlie. And about how much does Charlie bring in, Carolyn Flory? Over $5,000. Charlie is an Operation Harvest MVP. Speaking of Operation Harvest, here's the deal. We have three routes left to just drop off bags. That's it. We already have people to pick up those routes, so if the bags aren't delivered, they have nothing to pick up. So we have 3 routes. You can deliver the bags, you just put the bags on the doorstep. You don't have to ring any doorbells, you don't have to talk to anybody, except for maybe a dog or something, or somebody comes to the door, just tell them you're with Rotary and you're dropping off the Operation Harvest bag. And maybe we're not leaving this room until we get 3 people to step up. I'm just saying. But you can deliver the bags anytime between now and even next Wednesday. Doesn't have to be this Saturday, doesn't have to be this weekend. But if you've got some time Monday, if you have some time next Tuesday or Wednesday, it can be done then. So please, y'all, we just need 3. So I know we can do it. So after this meeting, please tell Carolyn if you can do that. We'll get those 3 routes done. Okay, next up, in honor of National Hispanic Heritage Month, I would like to bring up Sonia Rodriguez-True to share. And Sonia is with the Yakima County Superior Court. Sonia.
Okay, all right, so I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about Hispanic Heritage Month and the fact that our club celebrates it, recognizes it, just gives time to it. I think that's really important to reflect on what's going on in the community. And I thought, well, I'm not going to share necessarily from my family, but I want to share about a local cultural tradition, which is quinceañeras. And so this is something that goes on in Latino families that it is a tradition in our Latino culture which originates in Mexico with Mayan and Aztec roots to celebrate a 15th birthday. A church ceremony is incorporated, followed by a celebratory reception. So, I was reflecting on the summer. One of the best parts of the summer is going to quinces. This is one that we went to. This is Sophie Garcia, and the three little ones around her are kids. Sophie Garcia had her quince in Zilla, and she just was a beautiful, beautiful dress, ceremony, reception, and she invited our kids to be a part of it. And when I asked Sophie's family, so Sophie's mom is Laura Garcia, and she is the daughter of the Alejandres. I don't know if you know the Alejandres, but they're a pretty prominent family in Zilla, in the Zilla area. I asked her what the quince meant to her family, and she said, to our family and Hispanic culture, a quinceañera celebration is important because the quinceañera marked our young daughter's transition to adulthood. It also combines Catholic traditions from Old Spain and receives a blessing with a mass celebration, restating her baptism with God as an adult woman and restates her commitment to serve God and her community. And she said, I believe it was important for Sophie to see how much family and friends she has around her to reach out when she feels like she needs help. I feel that she now has a sense of belonging and feels more confident socially. So this is the meaning of the quince within the Garcia and Alejandra family, which again is a tradition that a lot of our local Latino families engage in. In fact, I have to tell Pat to take out his checkbook because our Daisy, who's standing there, she's going to be 12. She's excited for her own quince, so he's going to have to start saving for that. And then I thought this was a nice way to also remind us that there is a quince exhibit at the Yakima Valley Museum. And so I took this picture from my phone, but this is a beautiful exhibit that talks about the tradition and everything that goes along with the ceremony and just everything that's involved, the roots of it. I love how it sort of, again, a lot of traditions in our Hispanic culture combine the Aztec, Mayan, the indigenous parts of our roots with the European influences. And so this is a perfect example. So I just want to encourage you all that if you'd like to learn more about quinces and see this beautiful demonstration, please go and take a look at it. I've been there, it's wonderful, it's beautiful. So thank you for letting me share today.
Okay, now it is time for Sergeant at Arms. And I just have to say it's Kelly Connaughton that will be doing it today. And she came in last minute this morning as a sub for Yvette Anunza, who is sick. So she is fresh off the bench and coming to do this today. And she's going to introduce something new, which I am affectionately calling touchdown bucks. They're kind of like happy bucks, but they're touchdown bucks because that name's better. So, Miss Kelly Connaughton from the Yakima Greenway Foundation.
Thank you. All right, so as President Sherry has indicated, one of the things that this club hasn't done a whole lot of, I know we didn't do it when I was president, but other clubs do this. They call them happy bucks. We're calling them touchdown bucks because they're a much bigger deal. And kicking this off today, what I'd like to do is explain just a titch about what this means. Super easy. It's an opportunity for us, thank God, to sit and think for a second, and it should only take you a second, even a split second, to think of something happy that is going on in your life, in your family's life, in your job life, in your employee's life, something really positive that you want to celebrate today. So, I'll give you just a couple of seconds. huddle with your team at your table, and I want you to think everyone real quick about a couple of happy touchdowns that you want to toss some money onto the field or through the field goal, and see if we can raise some money really quick before we turn the program over to our speaker. So, on your mark, we're going to huddle for a second. I'll give you 30 seconds, 40 seconds. This should be easy. And then we'll go around and we'll celebrate. All right? Go.
My toddler's officially adjusted. Oh, yeah, she's adjusted.
All right.
Happy, drop off is easy. Yeah, your little guy's not little anymore.
My daughter is graduating from college early in December. Got some good stuff going on there.
Well, I saw my daughter over a long weekend in New Orleans, and it was good to see her doing well.
Yeah.
I'll kick this thing off. With some touchdown bucks.
Someday I'll actually remember the dollar bill.
Well, you gotta scan the QR code for the
Okay.
happy bucks.
Andy, all right, Andy, start us off with some touchdown bucks. Andy, yell loud so everybody.
My family and I are going to the Oogie Boogie Bash at Disneyland this weekend.
All right, Andy, what's that worth to you? Couple three, everybody? Yeah.
And I'll match it with 10.
All right, way to go, way to go. Yes.
I'm a guest here.
You're a guest.
My name is Rotary from Ellensburg Morning Club. Most of you probably would never make it at 7 in the morning. Especially if you're setting up.
Do you know these people really well? Because they would never come.
I know I'm happy.
There we go.
Anyway, I'm happy to sit with Sam here. He is a graduate of CWU's music program, which used to be excellent at CWU. I'm sorry for sort of falling off the cliff of that school. But at any rate, it has fabulous chance to get back someday because they are graduating with such as Sam. And he brings his music talents to this city and this school now as a director.
Wow. We've got an out-of-towner from another team who's given happy touchdown bucks to us. That's terrific. And Sam, I'm glad you're one of the few that actually have some great music experience. Because it doesn't sound like it's good anymore since you left. All right, where are we going now? Brad.
Jim Berg is really happy that he woke up this morning, and we all agree.
Yay! That is a big touchdown. I've got a touchdown bucks. Blaine and I found out we're going to be grandparents in February. I'm not ready for it, nor there is he, but it's going to happen one way or the other. So, all right, more touchdown bucks. Yes.
We're back. That's another blonde judge. So some of you know my stepmother Sandra, and a year ago she was near death with an infected hip, but she has made this great recovery. Rick knows, I'm always telling Rick. Yeah, and Dana. She just flew to Colorado. She went to Rocky Mountain National Park yesterday despite the shutdown. She's able to fly. She's gone on beaches with a little wheelchair that is able to go on the beach. So it's a wonderful celebration that she has come back and going strong. So.
That's great touchdown. Yes.
In the theme of touchdowns, I'm excited to go to the WSU Ole Miss game this next weekend.
How exciting, Margaret.
Touchdown in this one.
Way to go. Yes. Perfect. Big touchdown. Who else has got some touchdowns? Daryl Blue.
$5. My son and daughter-in-law are coming from Florida to visit tomorrow.
Yay.
Haven't seen them for several months.
Very good.
Next weekend, we are going to Oregon, to Eugene, to join our grandson cheering on the Ducks against
Woo! Very good. Who else has got touchdowns?
My daughter lives on the East Coast, along with two granddaughters and her husband. I don't get to see them more than maybe once a year or twice a year. but she's got a job that has now flown her out to meetings in Seattle and Redmond.
So you don't have to pay for it. That is
I
pretty
had to
professional.
drive over for lunch now last month, and I found out she's coming back for another lunch in later this month, and I'm driving over for it.
All right, let's rally here for the fourth quarter. Charlie, touchdown Bucks.
My wife and I donate our seaside home to the Rotary auction every other year when we have the auctions, and we will not be doing that again.
You sold it?
$20. She sold it.
Did you get remote furniture?
It's empty.
It's empty. Big touchdown. All right, one more touchdown.
My youngest is a senior in high school going to his first dance this weekend, homecoming.
All right. Well, I think that was a very successful game. I think we don't even have to go into overtime unless you really feel like you need to contribute. Pass your money forward, and thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good.
If you have any cash left over, by all means, give it to those people that are walking around for Rotary charities. Okay, so next up to introduce our speaker, your chair for the Rotary Education Committee, board director, and with the Yakima Valley Sports Commission, Mr. Rich Austin.
Thank you very much. Let's have another hand for Christy for doing such a great job with Sergeant and Arms. I had to pull that one out, Kel. Please raise your hand if you've ever participated in a high school sport, if you were an athlete during those 4 years. All right, awesome. Did you have a coach that left a lasting impression on you? Someone that you still think about to this day? One of the first exercises we did earlier this year at the State Athletic Directors Conference was to reflect back on our favorite high school coach and what we learned from that person. My favorite coach is a guy by the name of Jim Sund, and the kind of unique thing about him, and one, you're probably wondering what sport I ever could have played. If Bob Gerst was here, and he says to tell everyone hello, he would tell me to stand up. But my favorite coach was Jim Sund, and I actually played for him about a minute. I played for most of my coaches for about a minute, but I still see Jim, talk to him on the phone, and we still get together. So he's just someone who's taught me a lot over the years. The lifetime benefits of an athletic coach can go far beyond the field, track, court, or gym. A great coach just doesn't teach a sport. They influence character, mindset, and personal development in ways that can shape someone's life. Some of these ways are psychological and emotional, character and life skills, physical and lifestyle benefits, mentorship, and then moral and ethical development. Even one great coach can be a turning point, helping someone to avoid harmful paths, believe in themselves, or rise in the face of adversity. Now imagine if you were not an able-bodied athlete. How much more would that favorite coach mean to you under those circumstances? Coach Bryan Hoddle has worked extensively with injured soldiers at the Walter Reed Army Hospital in Washington, D.C., as well as the Lakeshore Foundation in Birmingham, Alabama, helping amputees, traumatic brain injury patients, and blind and wheelchair soldiers. He was selected as a Veterans of Foreign War Teacher of the Year for the state of Washington and was a recipient of its Veterans of Foreign War National Citizen Education Teacher Award. In the summer of 2000, he served as assistant manager for the World Junior Track and Field team, and 2 years later, in August of 2002, he was named program director for the USA Paralympics Track and Field Performance Coaching staff. And again, 2 years after that, in 2004, he was selected head coach for the USA Paralympics Track and Field team for the Olympics held in Athens, Greece. Coach, with the support of Ross Perot,
Coach Tony Walpetest, the 1996 Paralympics 100-meter and 200-meter champion, and he also coached Marlon Shirley, the triple jump world record holder and the world's fastest amputee and two-time Paralympics 100-meter champion. He was selected by the Salt Lake 2002 Olympic Committee to carry the torch in Olympia, as well as lighting the cauldron and speaking on behalf of the torch bearers. Coach Hoddle taught for 34 years in public schools in the state of Washington and has been the keynote speaker for Washington State Schools Association at their state conference and was also the keynote speaker for the Washington State School Nurses Convention. He has been a featured speaker at Boise State University, Agnes Scott College, and the University of Arkansas. And he has also spoken at dozens of track and field and cross-country clinics in Washington, Oregon, California, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, Alabama, Idaho, Montana, and Texas. It might have been easier to list the ones he hasn't spoken at the states. He's very highly respected in track and field, having coached 26 state champions as well as numerous national age champions. He's a past president of the Washington State Track and Field Coaches Association. He currently serves as a director of Northwest Track and Field in Seattle. A local guy for us, Bryan is a graduate of CWU, where he majored in PE and was a minor in education. He's a two-time winner of the PNW Track and Field Ken Foreman Contributor Award, as well as a hero in running by Runner's World magazine. And he was honored by the Washington State Legislature in the House of Representatives in 2014 for his work with disabled athletes and injured soldiers. Bryan initiated the Run with a Soldier Day for USA Track and Field in 2014, and that same year received the USA Track and Field Presidential Award. He was one of 6 Americans at that time to receive that award at their annual convention. He's a nationally motivated or respected motivational speaker, having spoken to over 350 schools, organizations, and businesses over the past 35 years. He talks to business leaders, civic leaders, athletes, parents, and school children about the 5 characteristics of a champion and how to apply those in one's life: vision, focus, persistence, discipline, and commitment. He's currently on the board of trustees for the Invictus Foundation and continues to work with athletes and injured soldiers. Here's what some people have said about Coach. His work isn't just technical coaching. A big part of it is emotional support, helping people believe they can still do things, recover, and redefine what their life looks like after injuries. He also adapts coaching methods for people with disabilities, working on prosthetics, balance, alignment, and reprogramming movement. Bryan is motivating and inspiring. He delivers a message that will last a lifetime. He has inspired injured military, Paralympic, and developmental athletes to perform better than they ever thought possible. For athletes, businessmen, or the general public, a motivational speech from Bryan Hoddle is guaranteed to make you want to go out and change the world. And Bryan is a breath of fresh air in the athletic world. His message is simple yet strong. The very foundation of successful people is delivered passionately in his presentation. But most importantly, you'll find that you'll realize he practices what he preaches, and that alone is a rare find. So we also have a pretty good track and field coach in the Yakima Valley, Phil English. And so I gave Phil a call today. And first he wanted to give you his best wishes, Coach. And he says, Bryan is a great guy and was a very important person in the Washington State high school track and field world. He played an influential and key role in helping ambulatory track and field athletes in our state. And he did say that if you're not doing anything, he's out at Franklin Park today putting up the course for the Sun Fair Invitational. He said to come on out and help, and he has a hammer waiting for him. Let's give a big downtown Rotary welcome to Coach Bryan Hoddle.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Appreciate being here in Yakima. As Rich mentioned, I went to Central Washington University, and I was dating my high school girlfriend at the time. And we did several trips in here for dates, and we went to the Central Washington State Fair. We went to the mall, which I saw had closed down. It's kind of sad. We saw the opening at the Mystic Theater of Caddyshack. Remember the Gopher movie? And then after we got married, we drove back over and saw the cinematic genius picture called Stripes with Fat Jack. And the moral of the story is, if you want to marry the girl you're dating, you better come to Yakima and go on a date. That girl, we've been married 44 years. So, all of the things that Rich mentioned, I would lay right to her and my father, which I'll talk a little bit about my father in a second. But Sherry and my two boys sacrificed incredibly. A lot of the people don't even know that I was on the road traveling somewhere. I just show back up at school on Monday, and it'd be like a movie going because I'd be at my desk half asleep. But a lot of people sacrificed, but those four, my wife is unbelievable. And guys, write your wife a note. My wife has 100 notes that I've written her on her mirror in the bathroom. Like, I love you, thank you for everything you do. Ladies do the same thing back. Get in the habit of doing that. My mom got pregnant to my biological father. My biological father hit the road, just left her. So she took me and put me with my grandparents. And we lived in Eldon, Missouri, because that's where I'm originally from. And about 5 years later, she married my dad, the dad that I know. And we moved to Independence, Missouri, the home of Harry Truman. And there was a new sheriff in town. Now, school, surprisingly, I taught 34 years. School was absolutely punishment to me, absolute punishment. And I remember sitting in the back left corner of Chapel Elementary School in Independence, Missouri. Remember SRA? Those SRA books we had to do? Okay, well, I was in the low group. It is a book. And my partner, the only person with me, was a young man by the name of Binky. Now you're probably wondering, well, why was he called Binky? Because in class he sucked on his Binky. So that really motivated my motivation to be in school. I already hated it. Now I'm sitting in the corner with Binky, sucking on a Binky, and we're reading I think it was a navy blue SRA book. Detested school. As a matter of fact, starting 3rd grade, I remember saying to my mom, we were sitting on my bed, she came into my bedroom, I was sitting on the bed, I said, Mom, I got a question to ask you. She said, sure, what is it? And I said, why do I have to go to prison every day? She says, I said, I didn't rob a bank or anything. She said, what do you mean prison? I said, I can't stand school. I cannot stand it. Because I struggled academically, and there was no one that kind of lit, well, they lit a fire under me, well, the fire that I needed lit under me. Until the 5th grade. Remember tetherball? So I'm standing in line playing tetherball, and this teacher comes up to me, and he had polio as a youngster, and he was probably in his mid-40s, and he hollers out, hey, if anybody wants to run the 400, you can make the school track team for the district track meet. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't know. And he says, it's 400 meters. I'm going, no, I'm playing tetherball. And he says, but if you win, you get out of school on Friday. I was the first one to the start. And at the race, I won the race going away. And I remember what he said to me, because words matter. It's not like radio where you get a 7-second delay. Words matter. And he looks right at me and says, you are really fast and you can go somewhere with your running. That completely turned school away, because he talked to me briefly, even back in the 5th grade, about, someday you can earn a scholarship and then you can go to college. So fast forward ahead, I win state, and I'm recruited by Eastern, and so I go to Eastern Washington for a year. Then I get wise, and I come over here because my girlfriend's in Olympia, and I spent 3 years at Central Washington University, a great education school. And the first job, it was in 1981, and I remember there were no teaching jobs. And my wife and I hadn't quite got married, but she said, hey, I saw this flyer, and there's a job, a 6th grade job in Sultan, Washington. We had to pull a map out. Where is Sultan, Washington? So she said, well, it's up by Everett. And I said, well, I'll just send my papers in, let's see what happens. Well, they call me for an interview. So it's like 4 days before school starts, which, by the way, is never a good sign if you're a young teacher. So I go up there and I meet with a principal by the name of Tom Sophie. And so he says, well, here's what we did. We let the other teachers pick kids and build a classroom. You know what that means? That means that they didn't pick the brightest and the best behavior. And he said, I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to have 24 welcome back Cotters. So you better be ready if you want the job. Well, I'm getting ready to get married. I need this job. So I go up there and I walk in there and I'm thinking, oh, I went to school for this. And so my belief is you got to build a relationship. The academics will come. Once you win their heart, you'll win their mind. So 2 weeks into teaching, I'm sitting at my desk filling out, remember those old green grade books that your teachers had? And I'm filling it out, and I could see as I look up, and this kid has walked up to me and says, Mr. Hoddle, this is 2 weeks into school, and I've just invested 4 years to go to college. He says, I can put my whole fist in my mouth. So I'm thinking, okay, what did Dr. Pearson say about that essential? So I said, well, excuse me. He says, yeah, I can put my whole fist in my mouth. You want to see? I go, absolutely. So he stuffs it in his, put the whole fist in his mouth. That was pretty, I tried it when I got home. I couldn't do it. And so I said, well, would you like to show the class? Well, the reason why I tell you that, he was kind of a nerdy kid, and the kids were picking on him a lot. Well, I took that moment and made that guy very popular. So he comes out in front of the class and says, hey, Gordy's going to show everybody something really cool. You know, someday maybe he's going to use it in a job interview, but I think he'll be really impressed with it. So he comes up front and stuffs his fist in his mouth. And so I'm starting clapping, and all the kids are looking at me, yeah. Completely turned Gordy around. And his mother came into me, and she even talked about that moment you talked about him putting his, he just became a different person. Why? Because it was kind of weird. He had value. He could put his fist in his mouth and nobody else could. Later, and when I worked a lot with injured soldiers, I had to be really careful how I phrase things. Because if I tell you I want you to go down and run around that flagpole and come back, I need to say come back. If I say go down and run around the flagpole, you're going to run around, run. So I had this girl come up to me, and let me backtrack for a second. I don't believe that we should pick on kids in front of their peers. I don't think we're going to win their heart over doing that. So a lot of kids wouldn't focus, like me. So what I would simply do is I'd tell the kids, okay, I'm just going to go like this, and that means you need to focus. So this is like 27 years into teaching, and I've had this girl in the 7th grade, and she's always laughing when I do it. And I go like this, and she, man, it's not that funny. But and then she goes back to me like this. So she comes up to me this one day, and this is later in high school. She comes up to me and she says, Mr. Hoddle, this don't mean focus. Well, my first thought is, if this doesn't mean focus, what does this mean? Excuse my language, but she says, this means you a bitch. So for 27 years, I've been doing this. So I said, well, what's the sign for focus? She goes, this is the sign for focus. So I said, well, I'll tell you what, let's keep that as our secret. And so she'd come into class and she'd be sitting down, and I'd kind of glance over and she'd go, and the rest of the kids would go, wow, man, she's really into the focusing bit. But again, it was building a relationship. I found out she got married, she has 3 kids, completely deaf, and is very successful, and hopefully that incident of her learning to teach me how to focus paid off in her life. One night I was laying in bed, and my wife throws the door open and she says, you gotta turn it to Cairo Channel 7. So I flip it over there, and there's this guy with no legs, and he's kicking 51-yard field goals with half a foot. And man, I'm going, wow, that's amazing. And then they show him back in Sydney running 100 meters and winning. So I'm gonna try to find him. I can't find the guy. One day my oldest son comes home with a Sports Illustrated for Kids, and he goes, Dad, I found him. He's 60 miles north of us. He lives in Mount Lake Terrace. So I call him up. I said, hey, please don't hang up. This is not a joke. And I said, I'm directing the Seattle Track and Field Clinic, but when I'm done on Sunday, I'd like to drive up and meet you. I think I can tell you a couple things that might help you. And so he says, great. So I drive up to his house, and we just visited. And I said, here's a couple things I think that I would do if I were you in running with your prosthetic legs. So I go my way, he goes his way, he calls me a couple months later, we talk, calls me a couple months later, we talk. In the meantime, my wife and I, we have our oldest biological son, and we decided we want to adopt. And so my wife goes, oh, I really want to adopt, I really want to adopt. And I said, I'll tell you what, you need to pray that a billionaire is dumped in our lap, because that's the only way we're going to adopt. So about 2 months later, just hit the button, right? Okay. About 2 months later, that guy's dumped in her lap. That's H. Ross Perot. Doesn't everybody have H. Ross Perot dumped in their lap? That's Tony on the left and his agent on the right. And so Ross Perot sends the agent down. His agent talks to me. We negotiate a contract, and we ended up being within $12 by the time we paid, because we want to make sure we got the right attorney so we don't end up on Dateline with it didn't work out. And to make a long story short, we actually adopted Stephen here in the Yakima Valley. So not only is Yakima famous because my wife and I dated here, but Stephen, who's now 30, by the way, we helped him close on his first house with his fiancée yesterday. So I told Tony, I said, you know, you've had a huge impact on people's lives because you have no legs and you're running at like a second and a half behind what Donovan Bailey from Canada did when he won the Olympics. And now you've helped us adopt a child, and the wedding is, you know, coming up, and I'm sure Tony will be there. But after that happened, Tony goes to Atlanta. He wins the Paralympics. Ross Perot is there, and he's exactly the way you see. He's the nicest guy you'll ever meet, but it's all business. And we were in the elevator on the way to the press conference. He looks across the elevator at me and he goes, good job, Bryan. Man, that meant $1 million coming from Ross Perot. And when he died, it really hit me. Man, we lost Ross Perot. He was a really, really good person who cared about people. So all of a sudden, I've become an expert on amputees. And remember when Oklahoma City building got bombed? The prosthetic center that made the legs for the people that lost their legs, and that one lady that amputated her leg in the building, that was in Oklahoma City. So Ross Perot calls Dan Rather. Dan Rather calls Savage in Oklahoma City. Ross Perot flies Tony and I in, and we get brand new legs. And the process they didn't know, so I'm actually telling them some things, what an able-bodied runner would do, so that they could build the leg to maximize his production. So after that, I'm kind of going, well, I guess I'm done with the Paralympics, I'm moving on. Then I meet another athlete. He goes on and wins the Paralympics. Then I meet another athlete, he goes on. Then I get this call that I think completely changed my life. It was from a guy named Kurt Bauer at Disabled Sports USA. And he says, Bryan, I'd like you to come to Walter Reed. I'd like you to come to Walter Reed and do a running clinic for the soldiers. This is out of Runner's World magazine. And so I go to Walter Reed, and I have 2 of these jackets, and I have another one that's a little bit different, and I'm putting that on, man, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna impress these soldiers. And I walk into a room, it's about half the size of this room, and I walked in, I looked around, and I walked right back out to the bathroom and cried. You know why? Because the carnage that I saw in that room was something that I could never imagine. There was a person where you're sitting, he's got both legs missing, he's got an arm up like this, shrapnel wounds, and he's staring right through me. I've got basketball starting guard from Notre Dame's national championship team, missing an arm that got blown off when she was standing on top of the Baghdad police station studying her manual to be promoted. I've got, this one really got to me. I had it looked like a 19-year-old guy sitting over here with a helmet on, stacking like blocks a little baby would use. And so I walked out, I'm just sobbing in the bathroom. I call my wife quick, like, man, I can't believe it. What am I here for? You know, why did God send me here? I don't understand. She says, you need to go into that room and do your thing. So I go back into the general, or the colonel that was there, and I said, sir, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do a running clinic. What do? He says, you take as long as you want, and you give these people hope. So for an hour and a half, I had some video that I brought with me, just by happenstance. We looked at that, and we talked about, you know, their lives and what's happened to them, and how they need to, you know, overcome some obstacles, that maybe a Paralympic champion is sitting in this room, and how they're going to have a big difference when they get out into their communities and start talking to people. So again, my attitude was I got to win their mind to win their heart. Now, I made 4 trips, and what was really interesting is each time I went into Walter Reed, I could tell the people who'd been out of combat for a while, because they weren't looking through me, they were looking at me. They had kind of adjusted to being back into normal American life. I made 4 trips to Walter Reed. I made 18 trips to Birmingham, Alabama. This is what a lot of people never even knew. I think my wife knew, my kids knew, and that was pretty much it. Sometimes I'd have to tell the superintendent in order to get the day off. But what they would do is they would fly like 50 to 100 injured soldiers in there, and I would fly all night on Thursday night, get off the plane, and boom, they're looking me right in the face. And we would take them through a lot of movement. I'm really good at adjusting ankles and backs, and so I was showing them some things they could do in that. And this one guy, he used to hunt with the Duck Dynasty people, so they invited me down to Duck Dynasty, and I go, well, I think I shot a BB gun when I was like 8, so I'm probably not the right guy to invite, but just building a relationship. 18 different trips. The first soldier ever injured when we went into Kuwait, Sergeant Eric Avila. He got his leg shot off. It's hard when you're above the knee amputee, because you lose the knee joint. He had his blown off all the way up to there. And so I challenged him. I said, hey, I'm telling you, just do what I'm going to tell you to do, and then, you know, a couple of years from now, you'll run a marathon. And he kind of looks at me like, what? And he ended up running the Houston Marathon a year later. And he was actually, I saw him behind Barack Obama when Barack Obama was president, when he was doing some kind of military thing. He was standing right behind him. So he really made a lot of his life. Then I'm kind of going, okay, well, I've made a lot of trips. Maybe it's time to retire. And so I get a call to go with Dave Reaver, the Vietnam vet who, you know, you see him on TVN a lot, and he lost a lot of his face back in Vietnam. And he says, hey, I want you to join forces with this. Well, I went to Arizona to play golf. I haven't even picked a golf club up. And so I would go to Colorado and Texas. It's central. I think I missed the technology class. And so I just started meeting soldiers in Colorado and Alabama and Texas and working with them. This is a graduation up in Colorado. And this young man right here just had a lot of issues going on in his life. And this sounds like I have no heart. But I would sit some of these guys down one-on-one. I said just like this: if you and I go to a mall, and everybody that goes by, we go, oh, he has traumatic brain injury. 90% of them are going to go, oh, that's too bad. You gotta get over it. We gotta move on with your life and get you going. Well, this is one soldier here from the graduation. This was back at this is Lakeshore Foundation. The guy that has no hands and no feet, he actually lost his from, is it hantavirus? Yeah, from hantavirus. It wasn't even, the guy in the red shirt had horrible traumatic brain injury. So we would be going through motor movements, and he'd watch, and he'd get up for his turn, he'd look back and he goes, what am I supposed to do? Well, he just watched. So I asked the military, I said, what do you guys do for traumatic brain injuries? They go, I don't know, what do you do? They didn't know. So what I did is I started reading, and I started looking at stroke patients because they compared closely to traumatic brain injury. And I read that stroke patients, if they do a lot of backward movement, skipping backwards, walking backwards, it kind of rewires their brain. And so I did that with some of them. It seemed to really, by trial and error, it seemed to help them out. And then there's some other guys standing there that we worked with. This is a guy that I found in Alabama, and found out that he lives in Surprise, Arizona. And I watched him run. He lost his leg over in I think, Afghanistan. And I said, you know what, I'll be honest with you, I don't think running is gonna be your thing, but I watched you play badminton and you're really good. He's one of the best badminton amputee players in the world right now. Just by showing up at Alabama and hopping into one of our team sports, and things are going well for him. These are just two guys that have to learn to walk. So, you know, how do you walk? How do you breathe? You know, you're supposed to breathe just with your nose, in and out. If you open your mouth, you pump what's called cortisol, which your body doesn't want. Now, I'm from Missouri. Missouri's a show me state. I don't want to hear somebody tell me what to do. I want somebody to show me. So I practice myself. I'm going to show people that I tried it and it works. If you're having trouble going to bed at night, sleeping, breathe through your nose, in and out, slowly, and you'll probably fall asleep in a couple minutes. The other thing you can do, which I show the soldiers, is take your right hand and you can plug your right nostril and only breathe through the left nostril. The oxygen goes into that side of your body, into the heart, and boy, that'll knock you out too. Because what they do is they come back in fight or flight. They're like this all the time, and if I don't bring their vagus nerve down a little bit, they're not paying attention to me. So we taught them just like you did a 5-year-old. This guy, completely blind, he lost his sight in Afghanistan. He'd never run ever. So I gotta win him over to say, if we hook pinkies and we run, you're gonna be okay. And so he's kind of like, I don't even know you. I go, you gotta trust me. I'm not gonna run you into a wall. Just trust me. I tell you what we'll do. We'll start with walking. So we hook pinkies and we walk. Now, if you want to know how tough running is with your eyes closed, try it. But just start with walking. And when you hit a couple walls, you'll know how tough it is. By the end, I'm kind of going, hey, look, we got to slow down a little bit. You got it, you got it. And I said, you know, there's a classification in the Paralympics for blind athletes, and you would be in, I think, the T13 division, completely blind. That's something you might want to think about. Then I get a call from Disabled Sports, and they say there's a soldier down in Phoenix, Arizona, who got both his legs literally shattered from like 2 inches below the knee. The bones of the foot just shattered into sand. I need you to go down and work with him. Say, great. So I go down there. His name is Steve. He was a state patrolman. He was a National Guard guy, embedded with our soldiers. He was blown out of a Hummer. And the only thing that saved him is one of his other guys, who both legs were missing and an arm was missing, pulled out a pistol and shot 2 Taliban in the back who were trying to haul him over a wall. So Steve says to me, I need you to help me out because my back, by the way, their backs are horrible, tight lower backs. Well, you can focus on your lower back, this is a little tip, or you can focus on your adductors through here. If your adductors are tight, your lower back's gonna bother you. So I said, Steve, what we need to do is we need to loosen up your adductors. And so I spent a couple days with him, and at the end I said, hey, look, if you get up and get running, I'll run a race with you. So a year goes by, phone rings in like early May, and it's Steve. And my wife goes, who is that? I go, Steve. And what's he want? I said, he wants me to run the Seattle Rock and Roll half marathon with him. Now, I hadn't even stepped out the door that year. I had not run. Usually I was running in the winter to stay in shape during the winter. I hadn't run at all. And Sherry goes, you're not 25, you can't do that anymore. I said, I'll figure it out, I'll figure it out. So I had about 4 weeks to train. So what I did is I trained every other day and I let my body rest a day. So we show up on the day of the race and I said, Steve, what's your goal? I want to help you reach your goal, which I'm not sure how I help you reach the goal. He goes, 2:59:59. I'll do the best I can. Well, if you've ever run a rock and roll marathon, you're in chutes. And we're in the 22nd chute. So when we go through the timer, I mean, I'm not gonna look up it because there's like, God knows how many people out there running. So we're running the whole time, and occasionally he'd have to stop and have to rub his back out because his back would singe up. So we're running, and we get to about a kilometer out, and he goes, oh man, I'm dead. I'm thinking to myself, he thinks he's dead. I've been running for like 4 weeks every other day. So I said, okay, look, from here on out, it's completely flat. I didn't know that. So we come around the corner, and the last quarter mile is straight uphill. And all I hear him say is, oh, gee golly whiz. And I'm thinking, oh, gee golly whiz. So I'm thinking, well, it can't be that bad because he's probably really beat. So he takes on up the hill. Halfway up the hill, he starts sprinting. And I'm thinking, okay, this is not gonna go good. So I took off sprinting myself, threw up like crazy when I was done. And I let him go through the chute first, and then we go to the VIP tent, which I worked out through a friend for us to get him into the VIP tent. And when we're there, the meet director comes up to us and he says, hey, good job. And I'm thinking, I hope he's telling me good job too, because I gave it my all. And he says, well, both of you, great job. He says, well, what was Steve's time? I go, well, I don't know. He goes, well, let me punch it up in my thing, because you have a little number on your bib. So he punches it up, and he shows it to me, and I go, repunch it. So he repunches it up, brings it over, shows it to me. I go, you're kidding me. I said, well, I'll go tell Steve. So I walk over, and I said, Steve, the whole race, we had no clock on us. We ran 13.2 miles? 13.1. And I said, this is your time, 2:59:59. And if he hadn't sprinted that last part, he wouldn't have got under 3 minutes. Man, he hugs me. He's ran like 56 half marathons now. He's ran multiple marathons. And it's all because of that opportunity that we had to spend, time together. It was really nice today to see a former guy that I coached with, Kurt Wilson. Kurt, you want to stand up? You guys know Kurt. So Kurt walks up to me, and we were on our first state championship team together. He was an assistant coach, I was an assistant coach. And he says to me at the table, he says, I didn't really have much to do. You guys, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not always, even though he's very knowledgeable, it's not always technique. It's the relationships that he built with athletes that helped us put a team together that won state at 3A level 2 years in a row. So he moved over here. You guys won out big time. Let me leave you with 3 things that you can say to your athletes, to your students, to your business employees, to your customers, to the people in your community. The first one I've already said. You got to win their mind before you're going to win their heart. The second one is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if you think back to the teachers or the people that have crossed your life, they had an impact on you because they cared about you as a person. The last one's kind of harsh, but it's life isn't always fair, and you got to get used to it. It's that persistence. When something gets dropped in your way, you just got to find a way to do it. So I really appreciate you guys being here today. Sherry, come on up here real quick. How many of you want to see Sherry in the Olympic coat? You do have to give it back, but Zip it up. Donna, come up here real quick. Dan?
Dana.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Pronouncing names isn't my gift. Come on up here. Stick your thumb out, because that's probably what the finger's going to do. Okay, I'm going to put my head coaching ring on your thumb. You got to give that back too, but there you go.
This
So,
is an Olympic ring, I might keep it.
yeah. It's got diamonds on it.
It's got diamonds in it.
But these guys work really hard. I wanted to make sure you need to congratulate them and tell everybody around the community, hey, I heard you. And then you can say, you saw the jacket on her or you saw the ring on her. So.
Bryan's gonna stick around. He's gonna have to fight me to get this jacket off. Just kidding. He'll stick around in case you guys have any questions or anything. Do you got everything?
Except the jacket.
Thank you so much. What jacket? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, my play of the day, I think Carolyn has it. The play of the day today is from Helen Keller. Your success and happiness lies in you. Resolve to keep happy, and your joy and you shall form an invincible host against difficulties. I say this quote to myself a lot. I think it's safe to say that our speaker today, Bryan, has probably seen this in action a lot as well. Our choices and our mindset are the source of our success and happiness, and we have to choose to maintain a positive attitude, right? Allowing our happiness on the inside and our joy to become that powerful, unstoppable force. So that's what helps us to overcome many challenges and difficulties in our life. So that's the play of the day to think about today. Next week's program, we are back at the Convention Center. This is a big one, folks. The flyer's on your table. So our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration speaker, Dominican American actress, singer, and former model, Jackie Cruz. She is best known from the Netflix series Orange is the New Black. She has an amazing story. She was homeless at 16, and she survived a life-threatening car accident at the age of 17. Her story is amazing. She transformed adversity into artistry, basically. So very, very exciting. Thanks to our sponsors. We can bring her in. Central Washington University, they will have an event on Thursday evening at 6:30. Heritage University, our sponsor, they will have an event on Wednesday evening with her at 6:30. We also want to thank OIC of Washington, the YWCA, and the True Law Group, as well as our Racial Justice Committee. They are sponsoring the Davis High School Mariachi Band that will be here. So lots of fun. Bring guests. RSVP to Carolyn for them, because we need to be sure that we have enough seats and food for everyone. So RSVP to Carolyn with all of your guests. Real quick, the week after that on the 16th, it's a road show. Fody at PNWU will be hosting us for lunch, and a tour of the new fantastic dental school. I've heard so much about this, I'm very excited. I've just heard that it's amazing. So on the 16th, we will be at a very fun OA game on the 16th. So, and then the 23rd, we're back at the Convention Center for our favorite, the vocational scholarships. So, I think that's it. Okay. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for choosing Rotary. Game over.